Welcome. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to draw a target using the 2024 Rules Stencil made by Missouri City Axes. Before we get started, you're going to need to gather some things together. You're, of course, going to need your stencil, pens, markers. You're going to need a screw, a drill or screw gun, and lastly, a tape measure. Actually, nope, you don't need a tape measure to use this stencil. Okay, let's reset this board and get started. We're going to line up the base of our stencil with the bottom of our centerboard. Firmly holding the stencil in place, we're going to make a horizontal mark at the very tip of the stencil. This will give us 24 inches from the bottom of the target. Now at that 24-inch mark, take the tip of the stencil, line it up with the left side of the centerboard. Moving to the right side of the centerboard, find the number that corresponds to the width of your board. In this case, we're using the number 1 line, which corresponds to a 9 1/4 inch wide board. Moving to the center of the target, we're going to find that corresponding number 1 line and mark the center of our board. This stencil can accurately measure boards from 9 1/4 to 10 inches wide in 1/4 inch increments. Just use the number and the line that corresponds with your board width. Now that we have our screw sunk into our board, it's time to draw our target rings. For this, I am using a Milwaukee ink saw permanent marker, but you can also use official WATL markers or any other round marker with a 3/4 inch shroud. Now we're going to draw the outer rings for the kill shots and the bullseyes on the right side of the target. Starting with the bullseyes, you're going to find the tip side edge of the number 1 tooth and line it up with the outside of the second board. With the template held firmly in place, draw the outside ring on your upper right bullseye. Now we're going to do the same thing for the lower bullseye. Now moving on to the kill shots. Again, you're going to use the tip side edge of that number 1 tooth and line it up with the outside edge of that second board. The teeth you use to line up the kill shots are the set closest to the tip of the stencil. And again, you use the teeth closest to the base to draw your outer bullseyes. I'm using the number 1 teeth because that was my board width. If your board width is a 3, you would use the number 3 teeth, 2, use the 2 teeth, etc. Once you finish the kill shots and the bullseyes on the right side, just move over to the left side and repeat the process. Once you've finished with drawing those outer rings, it's time to draw the 3/4 inch center bullseyes and kill shots. We're going to start with drawing the inner rings on the outer bullseyes. Grab the 2-inch diameter plexiglass template. Center the template in the outer ring of the bullseye and draw the inner ring. Go ahead and do the same thing for the other 3 outer bullseyes. Moving on to the inner rings on the kill shots, you're going to grab the 1.5-inch diameter plexiglass template. Center the template on the outer kill shot ring and draw your inner ring. Go ahead and do the same for the other 3 kill shots. Last 2 things we need to draw are the outer 5 ring and the inner bullseye. Grab the 3.6-inch diameter plexiglass template. Center it in the 5 ring. Holding it firmly in place, trace both the outside and inside of this template. As a side note, the gap between the outer 5 ring drawn with a pen and the one drawn with the marker is caused by using a 15mm marker instead of a 20mm marker to draw the target rings. That should do it, except for filling in the kill shots and the bullseyes. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you had fun and maybe learned something. Good day and God bless.